Hello everyone. Hope you're doing great. So I understand that this time is going to be very daunting for each and every one of you who is preparing for CAC 2022. Now, the one thing that we all would like to say is that yes, it's going to be a very daunting task to clear this exam, but we will conquer this exam together. And consistency and discipline are going to be our best friends. Using that, we are going to definitely conquer this exam. All in all, just one side note that if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for any new videos that we publish. Also, you can watch the playlist that we have created specially for you. We are working on elaborating those playlists as well, and definitely we'll be doing it. Do subscribe to the channel. It would be the most basic way in which you could support us. And thank you everyone for watching this and bringing us to the level that we are right now. It wouldn't have been without your support and your cooperation. Also, do write in the comment section below if you have any recommendations for us for the channel, how we can improve and what we need to work on. We'll definitely look into it. With that, let us start with chapter number 11, Medieval India, Cultural Development in India. From the 13th to the 15th century. The establishment of the Delhi Sultanate towards the beginning of the 13th century may be said to mark a new phase in the cultural development of the country. The Turkish invaders who came to India were by no means rude barbarians. Coming to West Asia during the 9th and 10th centuries from their Central Asian homelands, they had accepted Islam, just as the earlier invaders from the Central Asia had accepted Buddhism and Hinduism. They had also assimilated rapidly the culture of the area. The Arabo-Persian culture, which had embraced the Islamic lands from Morocco and Spain to Iran and its adjacent area, was at its height at the time. The people of the region had made brilliant contributions in the field of science, navigation, literature. When the Turks came to India, they not only had a well-defined faith in Islam to which they were deeply attached, they also had definite ideas of government, art, architecture, etc. The interaction of the Turks with the Indians who held strong religious beliefs and had well-developed ideas of art, architecture and literature resulted in the long run in the development of a new, enriched culture. But the process was a long one with many ups and downs. The possibility of mutual misunderstanding and strife is always present when two sides have strongly held views. More significant, however, were the efforts at the mutual understanding which ultimately led to a process of assimilation in many fields, such as art and architecture, music, literature, and even in the fields of customs and ceremonies, rituals and religious beliefs, science and technology. However, the elements of confrontation and conflict were strongly entrenched in both the communities. The process of assimilation, therefore, had many ups and downs and varied from region to region and from field to field. Architecture. One of the first requirements of the new rulers was houses to live in and places of worship. They at first converted temples and other existing buildings into mosques. Examples of this are the Quwat ul Islam Mosque near the Qutub Minar in Delhi and the building at Ajmer called Arahi Din Ka Jhopda. The former had been a Jain temple at first, which had then been converted into a temple dedicated to Vishnu. The latter had been a monastery. The only new construction in the Delhi was the facade of the three elaborately carved arches in front of the deity room, the Garbh Griha. which was demolished. The style of decoration used on these arches is very interesting. No human or animal figures were used since it was considered to be un-Islamic to do so. Instead, they used scrolls of flowers and verses of Quran which were intertwined in a very artistic manner. Soon the Turks started constructing their own buildings. For this purpose, they mostly used the indigenous craftsmen such as stonecutters, masons, etc., who were famous for their skill. Later, some master architects came to India from West Asia. In their buildings, the Turks used the arch and the dome on a wide scale. Neither the arch nor the dome was a Turkish or Muslim invention. The Arabs borrowed them from Rome through the Byzantine Empire, developed them, and made them their own. The use of arch and the dome had a number of advantages. The dome provided a pleasing skyline, and as the architects gained more experience and confidence, the dome rose higher. Many experiments were made in putting a round dome on a square building and raising in dome higher and higher. In this way, many lofty and impressive buildings were constructed. The arch and the dome dispensed with the need for a large number of pillars to support the roof and enabled the construction of large halls with a clear view. Such places of assembly were useful in mosques as well as in palaces. However, the arch and the dome needed a strong cement, otherwise, the stones could not be held in place. The Turks used fine quality light mortar in their buildings. Thus, new architectural forms and mortar of superior kind became widespread in North India with the arrival of the Turks. The arch and the dome were known to the Indians earlier, but they were not used on a large scale. Moreover, the correct scientific method of constructing the arch was rarely employed. The architectural device generally used by the Indians consisted of putting one stone over another, narrowing the gap till it could be covered by a coping stone, or by putting a beam over the slab of stones. The Turkish rulers used both the dome and arch methods as well as a slab and beam method in their buildings. In the sphere of decoration, the Turks ensured representation of human and animal figures in the buildings. Instead, they used geometrical and floral designs, combining them with panels of inscriptions containing verses from the Quran. Thus, the Arabic script itself became a work of art. The combination of these decorative devices was called arabesque. They also freely borrowed Hindu motifs such as the bell motif, the bale motif, swastika, lotus, etc. Thus, like the Indians, the Turks were intently fond of decoration. The skill of the Indian stonecutters was fully used for the purpose. The walls of the small tomb of Iltutmish near Qutub Minar, Delhi, were so intricately carved that hardly a square inch is left vacant. The Turks also added color to the buildings by using red sandstone. Yellow sandstone or marble was used in these buildings for decoration and to show off the color of the red sandstone. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with the next paragraph on page number 120. Thank you. All the best for exams. Do share and subscribe the channel and look at the other playlists that we have for you. Thank you.